Hey guys, just a reminder that if you like what you see here and you want to see more of me, you can always subscribe to my main YouTube channel, Kingtanic. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Otaku Experience, the anime non-news show where we talk about the current goings-on in the anime and the manga industry with our very uneducated opinions. Once again, I am your host, Israel. How's it going, guys? Now, before we go any further into the stories, there was no episode on Sunday, and that was because the episode that was supposed to go out on Thursday got delayed to come out on Saturday last week, and so I just felt like I just didn't want to, bombard with too many episodes back to back. So now we're back here, and there's a lot of stories. There's a very juicy week. Something that I definitely did not expect to be talking about. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised, just based on what we've seen. Not even just with the context of this story, but what we've seen with other things in the past that are like this. There's not good. I did not expect to see this. Very sad to see how this has kind of turned out, as well as a little bit confused because not all of the facts are out just yet. There's still a lot of gray in the area. And so hopefully we'll get more developments as this goes forward. But for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, or you have not checked in, my TV just turned off while I'm doing the intro. For those of you guys who don't know what's going on or have not looked at like the chapter times in this video, here's basically what's happening. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong tab. Here we go. Crunchyroll has basically been alleged of, breaking their contract and, the law where they, when you make an account on Crunchyroll, they're like, yeah, we won't share information. This is private, da-da-da-da-da. Apparently they broke that, and they have sold our information, if you have a Crunchyroll account like I do, to different third-party social media apps, to different ad companies, different things like that, in order to, make some money off of that. And it wasn't just that they gave it away. It seems like they had sold our information. And so, like I said, I don't know if any of this has been proven just yet. The document itself, which is here, which we'll go over some of it, the document itself kind of makes it clear that this was just an allegation that Sony, who owns Crunchyroll, if you didn't know, Sony basically shuts down the allegations immediately, which is what I would assume to be an attempt to just not let this story get public, whether or not it is true or not. It seems like it's more likely that it is true, but they kind of just settled it really quickly, really silently, so that way, the price would be smaller if people want to get money back for this, as well as not many people really talking about this. Now, something that is kind of big is that everyone who covers this story, like what I'm about to do, is basically going to burn a bridge with Crunchyroll. If Crunchyroll was ever going to do, I don't know why they would, but if they ever did a partnership, or were thinking about doing a partnership with me, Kingtanic, or were thinking about, sponsoring something or whatever the case may be, that all chances of that basically are now gone just by me covering this story. And I'm not trying to get like, oh man, look at Israel. He has such integrity, such a nice guy. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to say is you're going to see a lot of people not cover this because they don't want to burn those bridges. And I just kind of felt like, even though it's not to say that this is a small story, but it's not as big as it could be when you just like read like a lot of the headlines and stuff. I still want to let you guys know about it because this is still kind of a big deal, because it is that breach of trust and breach of the law and the agreement that they have with you once you make an account on Crunchyroll. But anyways, let's read the actual article and kind of the documents here and see, kind of what's going on with the story, like all of the details. Sony Pictures Entertainment and Crunchyroll reached a settlement on September 15th in a class action lawsuit between them and Salvador Beltran Jr., Eli Gross, and others, making Crunchyroll users in the US eligible for payment of approximately $30. The exact amount is not known yet. What that means is basically they're eyeballing it around $30, but could be more, could be less, but probably the ballpark. Users in the US who have registered, streamed, or otherwise used the Crunchyroll website or app are eligible for payment. Okay, so, and there's a little more here, so we'll read that in a second, but that's kind of, oh my gosh, sorry, my thing got caught on my microphone. But so that's kind of what's going on here. So some people seem to have, I guess, made allegations against these people, and you can kind of look into this. Like, there's stuff here. Like, if you just look up these people's name, Salvador Beltran and Salvador Beltran Jr. and Eli Gross, you can see like a lot of this. This has been going on for a bit. It's just been quiet. Not a lot of people have been picking it up. Which one, I guess, earlier on in the story, it might just seem like, oh, two guys are, fighting Crunchyroll about this. But now as it's kind of developed and gotten bigger, you're seeing more people cover it more recently. Like a lot of the stuff that happened, say, a year ago, no one's really talking about, even though this was happening then. And so you see how far back a lot of this stuff is going. And so they kind of alleged that Crunchyroll and Sony were, taking the information that people sign up for when they make an account, whether that's a free account or whether that's a member account, like I do. I think I pay like $15 a month because I have the premium membership, because it just makes it easy for me to share with like all of my siblings and friends who want to use that. And you get access to like the most shows that are like simulcast and same day dubs, and there's just a few benefits that I really like to have, and so I pay for that. But, at any tier, those memberships, those accounts that you made, that information was allegedly being either sold, most likely sold, or just given away to other people. Now, I doubt that, since they're in a business, I doubt that they would just give it away. They're probably selling it so that way they get money off of it. And then, that's why, and then what happens is they sell it to, whether it's Facebook or, and there is Facebook here, right there, if you look at the article, but then there's also like ads, third-party companies and things like that, which could be why, if you open like Instagram or Facebook or something. I don't have Facebook, but I assume it's the same thing. You might get like not necessarily targeted ad. Sounds more aggressive than what we think of when we think of targeted ad. So a targeted ad, if you don't know, is basically an ad that is basically designed for you. Like, they take everything that they base your information off of. Like, if they get access to your information, they'll go to like all the websites you've been on, they'll go to the YouTube videos you watch, the Google searches, and they'll be able to track down and, basically limit your interest to almost to a T. And then they'll start giving ads to get you to want to buy these things. And so that could be why, certain ads, and if it's like a region thing, they can almost do it by location. So it can be a more specific thing, by location, if they give it to that person or that ad agency. And so that's kind of what this is about. And so because Crunchyroll and Sony kind of settled it before the story got really, really big, the payment isn't hugely massive, because I think once the court of public opinion probably got involved, and if more eyes were on the story, things could have gotten bigger and more blown out of proportion. And that price could have skyrocketed to a lot more money. So if you want, you can go get your $30. I don't really care. Not that I don't care that they sold my information. I just don't care about the $30. I don't care. I'm fine. But hey, if you want to go to Mickey D's and take your best friends, you got $30 now to do so if you want to do that. But anyways, going back to the rest of this article. Eligible users must submit a claim form by December 12th, 2023. So there is a deadline. So if you do want to get that $30, you have until December 12th, 2023, which is literally a month from, or 2 months from today, when this episode should be dropping on Thursday. Then there's this. The class action lawsuit alleged that Crunchyroll violated the United States Video Privacy Protection Act by disclosing subscribers' personally personal identifiable information to Facebook and other third-party countries or companies. Sony Pictures Entertainment and Crunchyroll denied the claim, but have decided to settle to avoid the uncertainties and expenses associated with continuing the case. So basically, like I was just saying, the longer the case goes, the more eyes that get on it, the court of public opinion. I'm not a lawyer, so this is no way like this is how this works, but typically the pattern is once the case gets bigger, once more eyes are on it, and if more people start backing, the people who are alleging against Crunchyroll might be in more pressure that the minimum payment has to be, like up here rather than down here. So because they settled it early, that could be that whether it's true or not, even though it seems to lean more towards the side that it's true. Whether it's true or not, they just don't want those headlines to get out, because if it's not true, you don't want people to get freaked out and cancel their subscription. But if it is true, they still don't want that information to get out. And then, and basically that'll that doing it that early can limit what the price is. So it's going to be around $30 that you'll get back. And then Beltran and others filed the class action lawsuit in the district court for the Northern District of Illinois in September 2022, which is what we were just talking about. Some of these articles are back to September 2022, like right here, September 8th, right there, where this has been going on, but just no one has really talked about it because I guess maybe it just didn't make a bunch of headway yet until more recently. And so then basically, I'm not going to read this here to you, but here's the document. You can get this in this Anime News Network article if you want to read it. And it's 46 pages. So I'm not reading all of that because we would be here forever and no one would really want to listen to that. And I think that because of, I guess, that it's already settled and how small the price is, I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but it's not like, this isn't like a, like a big thing. Like if we're talking about, like an indictment of say a former president, if that were to ever happen. But anyways, did my TV turn off again? Dude, I need to set a timer on this thing to not die. I don't know why it does this, but welcome to the Otaku Experience, where we have technical issues. But if you want to read this, you can. But basically, it's just saying everything I've been saying before, where it says that nothing had really been proven. There was evidence that seems to lean in the way of, Sony and Crunchyroll being guilty. Sony and Crunchyroll, they come to an agreement and then they settle, and then they just give a price kind of to hush it up before it gets really, really big. So that's kind of how that has played out. Once again, I did not really anticipate talking about something like this, but it's not all that surprising when you think about how these companies work and how they can make money off of these things, even if that means, breaking the law like the Video Privacy Protection Act. So what are your thoughts on this? Are you going to cancel your Crunchyroll subscription? Sadly, in the United States, unless you want to start watching anime illegally, you really have no other option than to have Crunchyroll if you're an avid anime watcher or an avid anime fan. You really have no other choice because Sony has kind of monopolized the anime distribution in America. And so that's kind of really the only choice you have unless you want to start watching things illegally, which that choice is up to you. I can't control you. I can say that I don't enjoy, I don't choose to pirate unless I have literally no other option. But if you want to cancel it, I totally understand. And then if that's your only option left, I get it. Let's just say I understand basically all the points of view on this, and I can't really sway you in any direction. I would say not to pirate. If anything, just, try to boycott Crunchyroll. But I don't really, it's up to you. Do what you want. Go move to another country, turn on a VPN, watch Netflix anime, and you be all right. There we go. All right. See, this is what happens when Funimation gets taken and off the board because Sony buys it. Is suddenly now you don't have an option to go to any other major, streaming service for anime. You just have Netflix, which a lot of Netflix anime, unless you have a VPN, you cannot watch in the US. And then there's Hulu, which there's some shows on, but it's really just Crunchyroll. I mean, there's High Dive, but that's only 2 big shows a season that you get. And so you're going to be really left out if you want to watch a lot of the shows. So a lot here. What do you guys think about this? And we have another Crunchyroll story to talk about. So But what are your guys' thoughts? Let me know. All right, so our other Crunchyroll story that we have on this episode of the Otaku Experience is this. Crunchyroll has launched a new 24/7 streaming channel, basically. And you can see how like they kind of announced this after a lot of that image broke to kind of take the Crunchyroll conversation to somewhere else. But I don't know if it's really going to work because I don't know if anyone really cares about this. TV's kind of dead. But anyways, we have this. Crunchyroll announced that it is collaborating with Sony Pictures Entertainment, GSN, or Game Show Network to launch a 24/7 linear channel on Amazon Freevee, LG Channels, the Roku channel, and Vizio Watch Free Plus, first on Wednesday. Series available at launch will include Harimia, Ranking of Kings, Moriarty the Patriot, Psycho-Pass, Arifureta, Sugar Apple Fairy Tale to Your Eternity, and Code Geass with their English dubs. There will also be scheduled promotional genre and theme programming blocks. Sony's Funimation Global Group completed its acquisition of Crunchyroll from AT&T on August 9th, 2021, after the company first announced the acquisition in December 2020. The first purchase was $1.75 billion, and then the proceeds were paid in cash at closing. Funimation's home video releases are now listed under Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll announced in August 2022 that it acquired Right Stuff to expand its e-commerce service. Right Stuff phased out its store and migrated its products to the Crunchyroll store on Tuesday. So, speaking of which, here, I totally forgot to mention this. Not even just the anime streaming stuff does Sony and Crunchyroll have access to. They're basically in charge of like the merchandise, basically like anything in America that has to do with anime basically is just Sony's domain. And so, Sony doesn't really have a streaming service, but that's because all of their streaming stuff has to do with anime. But they don't have a Sony Plus. They just sell that off and then they control anime. It's part of their master plan and it's kind of working. But anyways, so they're launching this 24/7 thing with, it looks like, at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. 1, 2. I miscounted, I think. Anyways, I think it's 8. So 8 shows, and it seems to be with their English dubs because it will be in the US. And I assume over time, over maybe the next few months, they'll start maybe cycling in some other shows. None of the shows will be airing, I assume, with what's going on seasonally, because in most cases, anime are not made with their English dub on their release. Usually the English dub is, at best, maybe a week behind. Sometimes it's on the same time, but that's usually the higher end studios, the higher end anime studios who can afford having all that going on. But in most cases, you're looking at the latest, an entire season after, and at best, probably a couple weeks after an episode drops in the anime industry. So nothing seasonally is going to be a part of this, I would assume, because it seems like they really want to stick to their English dubs. But you're probably going to get stuff like this, probably reruns that come out later. So I could see maybe, and I assume probably maybe more appropriate stuff. I'm trying to see if there's a trend here on maybe the maturity level that they're putting in. But if not, you could start seeing things like maybe Spy Family once, season 2, once that dub is finished, once, Eminence and Shadow is done, you could see that possibly on here. I'm surprised they haven't launched with My Hero Academia or like Demon Slayer, some of those bigger ones, but I assume they have to get, promotional rights to a lot of those things. And I'm sure that those studios are probably like, bro, we're doing fine. Like these big stuff, we're fine. We don't need that. But there you go. If you want to just let anime run in your house throughout the entire day because you're a weeb and you want that anime ambiance, you have that. And I don't really know who's going to be watching this, but it seems like it's all free stuff. So maybe kids who want to get into anime, maybe their parents can like pop this in. They don't have to have a full-on membership, and then the kid can just put on this and watch some shows. I think there are some good shows here. I freaking love Harimia. I really like Ranking of Kings. I like Moriarty the Patriot. To Your Eternity is really, really good. And then there's some classics like Code Geass and other ones there, and so I could see, a lot of people maybe, 5 years from now being like, yeah, my first introduction to anime was the streaming channel that Crunchyroll had. And they'd be like, okay, cool. That's pretty cool. But I'm never going to use this. I assume that a lot of people probably won't. This is probably for those people that don't want to have a Crunchyroll subscription, maybe don't know too much about what's going on with the anime industry, but wants to maybe start watching some anime. this is probably who that is for. My question is, are you guys going to get this? What are your thoughts on this? All right, so moving on from the two big Crunchyroll stories in this episode, we have another, One Piece just happened on Netflix. Huge success for them. And so we have something that a lot of people I don't think even knew was being made. And that is the live action Yu Yu Hakusho on Netflix. And so here's that. Here's the article here. And so basically Netflix the other day had posted this teaser where it's just the title. There's no footage or anything of just Yu Yu Hakusho. And then we did get some character posters, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But this seemingly from a lot of people was sort of the announcement that this was even coming, rather than, back when the production was announced. And so we have this here. Netflix Japan announced on Thursday that the live-action series based on Yoshihiro Togashi's Yu Yu Hakusho manga will debut worldwide on December 14th. Guests to be announced later will attend a special screening event on the evening of December 13th. And then if you don't know what Yu Yu Hakusho is, it's one of those anime classics that people really like. And here it is here, 1992 to 1995. It's something that probably Rob has seen, or some, from that era that Rob really enjoyed anime. There's 112 episodes, so you got your work cut out for you if you want to watch it. But it is one of those classic anime that a lot of people really like, which is interesting. I'm trying to notice a trend in what's going on with the live action anime adaptations. My TV turned off again. Don't look at it. Why didn't you guys tell me? Gosh, but I'm trying to notice a trend that they're doing with the live action anime adaptations, particularly with Netflix. And it seems like they're going for a lot of the classic stuff. We're not getting, and this could probably just be, based on who has the rights to it and who they're getting the permission to do these live action shows from. But, we're not getting, Netflix Attack on Titan or Netflix Demon Slayer or anything like that. It's mainly a lot of these classics. I was having a conversation with my brother the other day. And my brother really likes anime too. And we were talking about how One Piece was like seemingly the first live action anime adaptation or manga adaptation, however you want to look at it, that really seemed to work, like widely speaking, that really seemed to work. And I was like, it's interesting because One Piece is one of the big three, one of the big three of anime, which are One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto. And so I asked him, what do you think is going to be the next of the big three to get made? We both seemingly landed on Bleach. We pretty easily. We were both like, Naruto might be a little crazy. I think Bleach could do it. And so we've kind of noticed that they're kind of going for these big, more classic staples in anime. It's almost like they pulled up the top 100 anime that every anime fan needs to see, those types of lists. And they've just started knocking those off. They're like, we'll try this one. We'll do Death Note. We'll do Alita Battle Angel. We'll do Ghost in the Shell. We'll do this. We'll do that. And they're just kind of slowly working their way down. We already know that Your Name adaptation is coming, not necessarily from Netflix, I don't believe. But we are getting a live action movie from that, unless it gets canceled. And so they're really just going for a lot of that stuff, which is really interesting. You'd think with how popular a lot of this stuff has gone that, maybe a studio would be trying to do like a Jujutsu Kaisen, movie or, a series or Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan. But that could also be on the end of the anime companies who own those production rights, or that could be down to the people who write the source material. Just not wanting to give that. And I can understand that based on the trend that we've had with Hollywood, but I assume that One Piece will kind of be the turn of that. Like if One Piece we've seen has really worked, if this really works, then I think we might be entering like a golden age where a lot of studios in Japan or the creators will give their blessing and their permission for these studios to start making more live action stuff based on a lot of these popular anime. I think we could see something like, Akira, or we could see, we already got Ghost in the Shell, but we could see, what is it? Oh gosh, what is it called? Oh no. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try to buffer while I try to think of the name, but these big classic shows that you could see potential anime adaptations for. I would love to see a live action Clannad adaptation, whether they want to do some movies. I think movies would be really, really, really cool. You could do that in maybe 2 parts. You could maybe do it in a trilogy, cover the first season in one movie because nothing really happens in the first season, and then maybe split after story into 2 parts or maybe just 1 part. I would love to see maybe something like that. You don't really have to go for all of these big shonen. I get why they do it because they want those subscribers, but I mean, I think, get some awards plays in there. Let's do a live action anime adaptation series that gets nominated for some Emmys. Let's do something like that gets nominated for some acting awards, some performance things. I think stuff like that could really turn around how the live action anime adaptation market in Hollywood is kind of perceived. And I think that could be really, really exciting. So we also got some character posters for Yu Yu Hakusho, which is here. There's Takumi Kitamura as Yusuke. And then we have Kanata Hongo as Hie. And then we have Jun Shishon as Kurama. And Shuhei Uesugi as Kazuma Kuwabara. And then that's basically that. And something I've noticed with a lot of these Netflix adaptations, at least recently, Cowboy Bebop, One Piece, and now Yu Yu Hakusho, is that they're definitely starting to nail their casting, it seemingly. Like I know a lot of people didn't like Cowboy Bebop. I know a lot of people did like Cowboy Bebop. But I think one thing that everyone kind of agreed on was the cast was pretty decent. Same with the One Piece cast. And then we have Yu Yu Hakusho, which is definitely more of a, gonna have more of a straight up Japanese bent to it. That they're gonna have more just Asian cast members, more Japanese cast members, rather than something like One Piece, which kind of had a little bit of everyone involved. And I think you're going to see that. And I think they're starting to nail what it's like, because for the longest time, they tried to transfer these anime things into just Hollywood movies. Like they took everything about Death Note except for, oh gosh, what's his name? Rio? No. Oh gosh. Oh, this is going to eat me up. Ryuk, thank you. Ryuk, and then the actual Death Note itself, they took everything else and got rid of it and kind of reworked things to make it, a Hollywood movie rather than making it just Death Note, but, changing it and adapting it so that it works better as a movie. They just took everything out. They're like, we want Ryuk, we want the Death Note, but then we'll just completely fundamentally change all the characters. We'll change where it's located. We'll do everything that makes it basically unrecognizably other than the Death Note and Ryuk. It's completely unrecognizable to the source material. But then I think they've realized that there's a reason why these things are popular, where you can have something like Lord of the Rings, where you adapt it and you take out characters like Tom Bombadil, and you ultimately make you make the adaptation the best version it can be, while also staying true to what Tolkien made in The Lord of the Rings. You don't suddenly strip out everything other than the ring and other than Gandalf and then be like, okay, we're going to just rework everything else here and then we'll just call it Lord of the Rings, because that's not Lord of the Rings anymore. And I think they're realizing that, hey, we can adapt these things. Like we can take One Piece, at its core be One Piece. All the characters at their core are these characters, have the creator involved, and then, change what needs to be changed so that it works better in this new format that we're making it. So it's going to be a little bit different. Some of the story beats might be a little bit different. Some characters are going to be cut out. Some new characters are going to be added. But it's all in efforts. While it's still very recognizably One Piece, it's still going to be the version that this needs to be to operate at its best in this new medium. And I think that they're starting to get that, and that is very, very exciting to me. But anyways, guys, Yu Yu Hakusho is coming. It seems a lot of people didn't really know about this, but it's coming on December 14th. I assume we'll actually be getting maybe a possible trailer, possibly even in 2 days on October 14th, and then it could be 2 months away. But probably in, by the end of the month, we'll definitely have a trailer, and we'll be talking about that then. But anyways, guys, are you excited for Yu Yu Hakusho? Are you starting to have a little bit of more faith in these Netflix live action adaptations? What are your thoughts on this? This year has actually been a pretty decent year of anime. If you go back and look at all of the seasons and some of the best shows, I know that while we're going through it, it can kind of be, well, it seems, it's kind of fine. There's some good stuff. There's some bad stuff, but it's kind of fine. When you look back overall at the year, in my opinion, at least, I think it's been a very solid year for anime. And it turns out a lot of these shows that we are really enjoying are coming back for another season, whether that's a season 2, whether that's a season 3, whether that's a season 57. Who cares? So we have 2 shows here that got announced for new seasons that officially got renewed, and here is one. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten Season 2 is officially announced. So if you don't remember what The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten is, it's that anime where the guy, helps out the girl, at the swing set. He makes her feel better, and then she's like, I'll repay you by like cooking you a meal or something. Then they become friends, and they slowly start getting more romantic. She starts spending all the time at his house, and then they're like in love. It's cute, it's wholesome, that's it. And season 2, season 1 actually was I believe ranked the highest season on the Anime Trends Annie chart for that season. So that's already one of the front runners for the Anime Trending Anime of the Year slot. And so, season 2 was basically a given, especially with how popular the show was. Not only just was it well received, but also how popular it was. And so we finally did get that announcement, which is really weird that it came this late, but regardless, we got it. Here's what it says. Season 2 of The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten anime is officially in the works, as announced earlier with a teaser visual and a promotional video, which recaps the first season. No further details have been announced. So there's an image here, obviously from the source material. The art is inspired from how the source material looks. This is not how the anime looks. And then, yeah, they just kind of give you a synopsis there. So this is very exciting. I really enjoyed the first season of The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. I didn't hate, but I didn't like the last 3 episodes, because that was when it kind of felt dragged out, where it was like, do I confess? Do I not confess? Do I confess? Do I not confess? Whereas everything else before almost felt more organic, just, flirting, they realize they're liking each other and they're starting to get, all that natural stuff. And then it felt like we should drag this out as long as possible suddenly in the last 3 episodes. But they finally got together at the end. And so in the second season, they should officially be in that relationship. And so I think that basically, the second season can be fantastic, because we don't get a lot of anime where the characters actually get together. A lot of anime will, it'll spend seasons building up this relationship, then they finally get together, then the show ends, But I'm happy that that trend is starting to reverse, and we're starting to get more shows where the relationships do build. But another one is a sequel to an anime that for the past 2 seasons, I've thought have been, you could make a very decent argument that not only are they one of the best anime of the year, but they are possibly even the best anime of that year. And that is Link Click. This is a donghua, or, basically a Chinese anime, for lack of a better term. And it's fantastic. If you have not seen the first 2 seasons, I really recommend go watch them. They're fantastic. They have English dubs as well. You can watch those. Crunchyroll, watch it. It's great. And so the 3rd season is coming out, which is awesome. It took 2 years for season 2 to come out, so I assume it's probably going to be the same turnaround for season 3. So we'll probably get that, summer 2025 or something like that. But as long as we get it, I'm super excited, because it's so good. Immediately following the airing of the season 2 finale on September 21st, 2023, popular donghua Link Click has been tentatively confirmed for a 3rd season. Their series official account on X seemingly announced the continuation of the Link Click the same day the season 2 finale aired. A translation of the post reads, "The 2nd season of Agent of Time has officially concluded. From midsummer to early autumn, this is the only road of destiny. Thank you for your support and companionship. This show has not ended yet, and I look forward to opening a new chapter of the continuation with you all." And then, they give plot stuff and, what to expect, which is has spoilers from the season 2 finale. So I'm not going to read that in case, because I know a lot of people still have not discovered the greatness of this show. And so I want you guys to be able to check that out on your own. I really recommend to go watch it. I think if you just watch 1 episode on Crunchyroll, I think you'll be hooked. If you don't like the first episode on Crunchyroll, don't watch it. The rest of the show is going to be that tone, that style of writing. But if you do really enjoy it, it just gets better and better and better. So I'm really stoked for this. Out of the 2, obviously, I'm more excited for Link Click, because like I said, seasons 1 and 2, I think have not only been in my favorite shows of the year, but I think if someone said it was their favorite show of the year, I'd be like, I could see that. That is definitely fair. And so what are you guys' thoughts on this if you have seen Link Click? And if not, have I at least tempted you to watch Link Click? Yeah. What are your thoughts on this? And with all the shows out of the way for this episode, we're going to move on into everybody's favorite part of the show, the Goofy Woofy anime community. All right, so we have this. So Attack on Titan, obviously about to end. The final part, or the final chapter of the final part of the final season, is coming out in a month, and we can finally put this to bed. I love Attack on Titan. It's one of my favorite anime of all time, and I'm just, because I know what the ending is, I'm just excited for it to be, I'm just excited to let's just rip up the Band-Aid. Let's just see what happens. We've spent, 3 years doing this, but anyways, we have this. So Attack on Titan will have an interview. The anime won't have an interview, but the lead character will have an interview. That's right, Eren. Not the actor, Eren. Attack on Titan's Eren. Yes, Eren will conduct an interview with Japan State broadcaster. Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan will officially be the first anime character to have an interview on NHK's The Professionals program. Attack on Titan has been established itself in recent years as one of the most talked about anime of its generation. Through its animation, soundtrack, and indisputable global reach, perhaps some of the conversation has come from its unique naming conventions, as Attack on Titan, the final season, Part 3, Part 2, is set to air November 4th. Before then, the series will make further waves as Attack on Titan protagonist Eren Yeager agrees to sit down with Japanese state broadcaster NHK. This interview won't be a deep dive into Eren's voice actor Yuki Kaji per se, but with the addition of the actual personality of Eren. NHK General TV will feature Eren on the October 23rd edition of The Professionals, which is described by NHK World Japan as such. The meaning of professional, meaning exceptional people who are breaking new ground and making a difference in their area of expertise. And so they're basically going to be talking to, it keeps going, but they're basically going to be talking to Eren like, so why did you think the rumbling was a good idea? You mind taking us through your thoughts there? Like, they're going to treat it like that. And I just think this is so funny to me. The fact that this is going to be taken so seriously. And, I'm going to watch it. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. And then for our other story, and the last story we have for the Goofy Woofy anime community on this episode is this. So Ghibli's been on everybody's mind. The Boy and the Heron's been coming out, but also the Ghibli Fest that they do every year in theaters is about to end with Spirited Away at the end of this month. But one of the most popular Studio Ghibli films is My Neighbor Totoro, which is actually going to be getting a sequel. My Neighbor Totoro sequel screening this season at the Ghibli theme park. So this is not an actual sequel like you may have thought. It's just a short film that features the characters that takes place after the movie, and you will only be able to see it in this park. As detailed in Ghibli's park official website, May and the Baby Cactus, along with 9 other short works that will comprise the Ghibli Museum's exclusive film collection, will be showcased at the theme park through the remainder of 2023. Scheduled for this November, May and the Cat Bus revolves around May's friendship with Konekobus, the child of the larger cat bus spirit she meets in My Neighbor Totoro. Paying tribute to its predecessor, the short showcases May's exciting first ride with her new companion, as this 14-minute film has never been shown outside Japan. It has never been subbed or dubbed into any other language. Screenings at Ghibli Park will feature the original Japanese language track with additional subtitled showings for viewers with impaired hearing. And then they talk about My Neighbor Totoro. And so this is kind of like how the Disney Vault, for the longest time before Disney Plus existed, they would release the movies and then lock them up and be like, you can't access them. This is like that, except where they don't release it. They're like, yeah, you just can't see it. This is just ours. You have to travel to watch this. Which I guess, since it's not a full feature film, I guess it's fine. But I do like that they kind of tease everybody like, guys, the My Neighbor Totoro sequel, which we didn't even know was coming out, is screening this season at the Ghibli theme park. I just think that's so funny. So out of these two, what is the certified goofy moment of this episode? I don't really know. Both of these are so funny to me. Honestly, it might just be the Attack on Titan. The fact that they're going to interview Eren himself, I think is really funny, as well as just the fact that, it might just be the way that the article did this. I just thought it was really funny the way this kind of played out. Because when I first read it, I was like, wait, there's a sequel? Oh, that was my reaction. But I think I'm going to give the edge to the Eren interview. I cannot wait to see them be like, so the rumbling. Good idea? Bad idea? How do you feel about it in hindsight? I think that's really funny. Maybe he can break the fourth wall. Like, how did you feel about the writing of your character in this scene? I don't know what it could be. It just sounds hilarious to me. It sounds fantastic. But anyways, guys, What are your thoughts? What is your certified goofy moment this week? All right, guys, I'm moving into the audience rankings of this week. Before we get into the fall audience rankings, because we do have week 1 of those, before we get into that, we have the anime of the season rankings for Anime Corner, and those are these. Bungo Stray Dogs 5 is anime of the season for the Anime Corner rankings with 9.19% of the vote. A good runner-up is Bleach Thousand Year Blood War: The Separation with 8.76% of the vote. In third place is Mushoku Tensei Season 2 with 7.36% of the vote. Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, 6.78% of the vote. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 at number 5 with 6.3% of the vote. My Happy Marriage at number 6 with 5.84% of the vote. Dark Gathering at number 7 with 3.71% of the vote. Undead Girl Murder Farce at number 8 with 3.29% of the vote. The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses at number 9 with 2.96% of the vote. And Reign of the Seven Spellblades at number 10 with 2.45% of the vote. And so that's how based on the data of 32,000 people, that's how the Anime Corner is ranking the anime that came out in summer 2023. But moving on into the fall 2023 rankings, we have the first week from Anime Corner, and it reads like this. So this is the first time. All of these are new entries. These haven't moved any places yet. This is just the first time. Next week, we'll start seeing how things move, as well as new premieres starting up, and we'll be able to see how things kind of enter and leave the list and move throughout for the rest of the next 3 months. So at number 1, we have what might be anime of the year, like just straight up anime of the year, is Free Run Beyond Journey's End at 12.56% of the vote. Totally deserved. At number 2, The Eminence in Shadow Season 2 got 11.32% of the vote. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 at number 3 at 7.23% of the vote. Ragna Crimson at number 4, 6.64% of the vote. Berserk of Gluttony at number 5 with 6.27% of the vote. Shangri-La Frontier at number 6 with 5.29% of the vote. Shy at number 7 with 4.05% of the vote. At number 8, we have I'm Giving the Disgraced Noble Lady I Rescued a Crash Course in Naughtiness at 3.98% of the vote. The Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy at number 9 with 3.83% of the vote. Some of these titles, man. And I'm in Love with the Villainess at number 10 with 3.27% of the vote. Like I said, we'll see how this list develops throughout the following weeks, as well as we should be getting an anime trending ranking. If not on Sunday, it'll be the week after, as well as we'll be getting their final ranking for the summer season as well. But with that being said, guys, what are your thoughts on these rankings? How do you rank the current anime season as well as the previous anime season? What are your thoughts on all of that? Hop in the comments and let me know. All right, so it's time for the last thing that we do on the Otaku Experience, which is reading your comments. So if you guys want to get a comment that I will read in the next episode of the Otaku Experience, all you have to do, hop down to that comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts are on anything that we talked about, and I will get to that. But getting it into last episode's comments, we have 3, starting with Eli Craig. I think Miyazaki is going to keep making animated films until he physically can't, and I, for one, am excited to see the last Miyazaki movie for years to come. Dude, I don't even know what to think. Because, like, at this rate, I think the final Miyazaki film might not be something that we know is the last Miyazaki film. Which is scary, but at the same time, that's kind of freaking cool. Because it's like, bro, yeah, he was making movies till his dying breath. But yeah, really exciting. And then we have Omine, one who seems to be giving a response to something that I respond to the response that I gave his comment in last episode, and that is this. Again, they can quit and search for another job. This is talking about how MAPPA was silencing the animators. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. Stop pushing the Western agenda. If I have a good example from the USA, I would agree. But the last month I saw talentless hacks demanding more money for the poor. Ominai, if you guys don't understand, and while I really strongly disagree, I will do my best to try to, as honestly as I can, recap his argument, which is, I guess that the animators have been turning in more, I guess, from his point of view, or their point of view, I don't know if it's he, from their point of view, more subpar work, and so the work, the structure of what's going on right now is okay because they aren't doing anything that's worth, more than that. And they can go look for another job at another studio. But, and I strongly disagree with that. I think that the artists literally can't do their best work in these circumstances. And so we literally won't see any change unless something changes. So with this, with that point of view, I can understand if, a lot of people, who have been really disappointed in what Hollywood has been serving out the last few years have definitely, they've had a more pessimistic view on the writer's strike, where it's like, well, with the writers submitting so much subpar work, why should we support them, getting paid more and getting more benefits? When the answer is, one, I think that just being a decent human, you'd want to have people be able to support their families and pay for their bills and things like that. But also, with the benefits and the more opportunities they're asking for, that'll, give the ability to have a higher level of quality. And I think the same thing is true for what people who want the animators to get are advocating for, is just for that opportunity and those benefits where these people don't have to be killing themselves at their job, as well as also, doing their best work. And so I can see where that point of view could come from. I just really strongly disagree with it. And so I still disagree with what you're saying there, but I think that if the restructuring happened, I think that you're going to see definitely a higher level of animation quality almost immediately once those shows that after the structure had changed, you would see that rollout happen in those shows, because they would have more time. They would be able to, not be as stressed. They wouldn't be as tired. They'd be able to do their best work. And I think we would see that change immediately. So there you go. Then we have the last comment on this episode is R2Lee2. That's a good name. And someone said, funny, when I commented previously, I had the Hunter x Hunter author in mind. Glad he's still at it, but have they gotten off that ship yet? I assume that's based off of where they're at in the Hunter x Hunter manga. And if you guys don't know, the Hunter x Hunter manga seemingly is returning based on a tweet that the Hunter x Hunter author put up a couple weeks ago at this point. I don't know. A little bit ago on Twitter. And it seemingly alludes to the fact that, more Hunter x Hunter is coming. And so, it's kind of you manifested it. You manifested it, R2Lee2. Thank you. You're our hero. And I don't know if they're off the ship yet. I don't read the manga. But anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of the Otaku Experience. I want to thank everybody so much for watching. If you'd like to keep up with me outside of the Burnett work, you can always do so by subscribing to my main YouTube channel at Kingtanic. Follow me on Instagram at Kingtanic. Follow me on Twitter at Kingtanic Israel. And if you're new to the Burnett work, there's so much stuff for you to watch every single day, including but not limited to Robservations, Architects of Imagination, Ladies of the PGS, K-Pasa PGS, the member chats that we do, Midnight Musings, and of course the Otaku Experience, and much, much more. There's so much going on here, and we would love to have you join. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me, and I will see you all on Sunday.